Today is Wednesday, Parashat Vayakhel-Pikudei. We're going to be reading two parashiyot this Shabbat, Vayakhel and Pikudei. The Parashah of Vayakhel begins with the idea of gathering into a congregation. Vayakhel is a kahal is a congregation, is bringing people together, is assembling people together. And that's what Moshe does in the beginning of this Parashah. It has to do with bringing people together in the building of the Mishkan. As we know from the previous Parashah, the Parashat Terumah that we read a couple of weeks ago, that the Tetzaveh also, that all of Am Yisrael participated, in a sense, coming together to contribute whatever was needed to build the Mishkan. And Vayakhel is to congregate and bring him together, because the Mishkan is a unifying project, so to speak, that brings everybody together for such a high-level purpose of building a sanctuary for Hashem. So that's the Vayakhel. But at the same time, the first subject in the parasha has to do with Shabbat. Shabbat, that the idea of commanding us to honor the Shabbat and to observe the Shabbat, and it says, Lo tevaru esh bechol moshvotechem beyom HaShabbat. Do not burn fire do not ignite fire in all your places on Shabbat. And why does the Torah tell us right after getting everybody together and has to do with building the Mishkan, first subject is Shabbat? Because Shabbat also is in a way a day that unifies, a day that brings us together. And a day, that's why we say also Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, peace. And Shabbat brings us together in more than one way. Number one, we find ourselves gathered in the synagogue and coming together and unifying together, just like the Mishkan unifies all of Am Yisrael. Shabbat also unifies all of us. And Lo tevaru esh beyom HaShabbat, ken Lo tevaru esh bechol moshvotechem beyom HaShabbat. Do not ignite fire in all your dwellings on Shabbat. Could be also understand when people come together to be very careful not to have any friction or machloket. Fire is a symbol for machloket, is a symbol for quarreling. Shabbat is a time of peace. That's why it's Shabbat Shalom. Even though we all come together, and sometimes there are situations as we come together, but it could be some friction, to make sure not to ignite fire, not to have any quarreling or any conflict, but on the opposite, to have peace and harmony between us. There's also another aspect of Shabbat Shalom, harmony and peace, is the person is composed of a spiritual and physical. Spiritual is neshama, and the physical is the material. Throughout the week, we're more involved in the physical pursuits, material pursuits. Even eating itself and drinking is a kind of a physical activity. But yet on Shabbat, both the spiritual and the physical come together, and they are at harmony and peace. Our meals are done in honor of Shabbat, even though it's a physical activity. It's all has a more spiritual aspect. Yes, you can make every day of the week, even the other 6 days, days of more dedicated to the spiritual. Even the meals, the barachot that you have, and everything that is physical could be elevated for a spiritual purpose. But on Shabbat, this idea is more pronounced of Shabbat Shalom, of peace and harmony. In the physical and spiritual, there is more time also to learn Torah, and more time to dedicate ourselves to the spiritual, while we're involved also with the physical of the meals of Shabbat, the 3 meals of Shabbat that are more copious than during the week, etc. So this is the idea of Vayakhel, of gathering, bringing together, and Shabbat being also one aspect of bringing together. So both the Mishkan, the synagogue, the congregation coming together in a place of prayer, and Shabbat are aspects that unify us and that bring us together, always in peace and harmony. But one other idea from the Parashah of this week, it speaks about the Nesi'im, the heads of the tribes, bringing these precious stones that were on the vestments of the Kohen Gadol. And the word Nesi'im is written typically with a Yud, but here the Yud is missing in the word. And Yud is missing to show us the importance of doing mitzvot bizrizut, with alacrity. The Nesi'im, the heads of the tribe, according to the Midrash here, it says that they said, let all of Am Yisrael donate whatever they want. We will donate whatever is missing. What an incredible offer for anybody who's involved in a building fundraising project. If he has one donor that tells him, look, don't worry about it. I cover all the expenses. Just gather from everybody whatever they would give. I'll take care of all the rest. That'll be great. But here, the Torah indicates to us that even though they brought these very precious stones at the end of the project of building, since they delayed making their participation immediately after the fundraising campaign was announced, they were held to task in a sense. They were told that was something that was lacking, and that's for the Yud is lacking in their name of the Nesi'im. And from this we learn the great importance of when you see a mitzvah that needs to be done, you have to jump to do it. Don't delay, whether it's a donation or a project that needs your assistance. Don't procrastinate. Do it right away, because if you push it to later, like the Torah teaches us, Nesi'im is a Yud missing to tell us they didn't respond right away with their donation, even though they might have given very expensive jewels, very expensive precious stones. Still, they did it later rather than immediately. That was something wrong. And one of the lessons from the Parashah of this week, mitzvah come your way, don't delay, do it right away. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.